We're finally back racing at round 3 of the AMA District 17 GP series at Fox Valley. So this is a Saturday race, so the day before the race, which was Friday, it rained quite a bit, which made the trails pretty slick. Also, the day of the race, it was supposed to rain, mainly in the afternoon, so they really tried rushing us to get through all the motos before the rain hit. Now, with the 12 to 29C class, there is another huge turnout of 20 riders. So you can imagine 20 riders and wet trails means chaos. So, with that being said, let's get racing. So, as usual with the first moto of GPs, it's a dead engine start. And I'll be completely honest with you, I was not expecting the flag to wave so quickly, so I wasn't able to start my bike up first kick, but it started up second kick no problem, and in gear. So, we're making some progress there. Hopefully, sometime before the end of the year, I'll actually get a decent start. But right now, I'm about mid pack going into the woods. So this is my first time at Fox Valley, and I was really excited to try it out because this will be my home track when I move to Schaumburg. It's about an hour and 20 minutes from where my apartment will be. The cool thing about this track is it has a little bit of everything. So it has hills and it has creek crossings as we're going across right now. It has tight trails, open trails, as well as a motocross track, which is where we're headed right now. So I'll have a lot of practice, a lot of good trails to practice, and hopefully I can enhance my riding skills even more. So right now, just getting my pace down. We're doing 4 laps per moto today. So one less lap than what Tri-City gives you, but they really reduced the size of the track due to the rain. So a guy slips up right there. I get around him. The trails are a lot more slick than what the video is showing. This first part of the track, it's not too bad, but the second half of the track after you get off the motocross track is where things get pretty slick. So the cool thing about this part of the track is, or the cool thing about the motocross track in general, is you can just absolutely send it on these jumps, and they're really safe. I mean, they're all tabletops and singles, and if you over jump them, it's not too big of a deal. So that guy who slipped up in the woods, he tried making a pass right there, or I guess that wasn't really trying to make a pass, but it was more, hey, I'm here, I'm gonna make a move on you here in a little bit. And looking to the left there, you can see he made his move. So I wasn't really sure if he was gonna try a supercross pass there or if he was gonna keep it clean. And he obviously kept it clean. I mean, GPs, I've never had any problems with people passing me and not keeping it clean, but I let up a little bit just in case because I wasn't trying to break anything or crash in general on the first lap. But you can see on the left there, he crashed again, so got around him. But in the process of getting around him, I got passed. So now we're going up this uphill, and everyone was going to the left, but I think this line on the right over the roots was a little bit faster. So the roots kind of scared people away, but I found it to be faster. And now we are getting to the muddy sections. So right about here is where things get muddy. And I have a nice battle with this guy on the Kawasaki here. I mean, it's classic C-Class mud, so it's slow, but still, it's a fun battle, and that's the cool thing about GPs is everyone's really close to each other, and you get to have fun battles like this. So we go back and forth a little bit, but I give it a little bit more going into the woods and make a pass on him, as well as a guy who went down. So with all this mud and everything, and you can see these roots here, I mean, people are going down left and right. So the big thing with this race is choosing ruts and lines effectively. So what I mean by that is you want to choose a rut that's not too deep where you're going to get stuck, but not too far out of the way where you're going to lose a lot of time. So we're coming up to finish the first lap here, go through this cool section where scoring is, and then down this downhill to a creek crossing right about here. So this looks really wet, and it was wet, but it's not like unrideable. It was almost tacky as you went along. So it was easy to keep the bike straight and keep moving along, and it was actually pretty fun. So we finish up the second lap now, which, to be honest, nothing really happened the second lap. I got passed a couple of times, but I don't really put myself getting passed in the videos just because, I mean, it's not really much of a highlight and it's not really much of a talking point. Um, I mean, I do show a couple of times where I get passed, but not every time I get passed. So we're going up this section I just talked about and trying to keep pace and keep going fast. And you can see a guy slips up right here. So as I said, C-Class, this race, people are crashing left and right. I mean, there's not much more to it. And another guy's down right here, which I should have gone to the left and I could have made the pass, but I slowed up a little bit. I didn't really suffer too much with arm pump, but I was tired from um, trying to control my bike in all these ruts, so letting up a little bit was a much needed break about halfway through the race. So we're coming in to finish the third lap, going on to the final lap here. In this lap, I am going to show the entire thing because if anyone ever asks me why I do GPs, this is what I will show them. So we go into the lap here. This section you've seen, now this is the third time just because this is right after finishing the lap, so you're going to see it pretty much every clip I show. And we go to this straightaway section, and there's a guy right behind me. So we're both roughly the same speed, so I don't really let him around. Plus also it's a GP, so you shouldn't really be pulling over. But I overshoot this corner, and he gets around me. So now I'm going to try and keep his pace for the rest of the lap and try and wait till he makes a mistake. And if he doesn't make a mistake, then I'm going to have to do a do or die pass. And what I mean by that is just pretty much find some hot line around him. So now we go over this small chamfer into a downhill, which this downhill was slick. It was more rooted and rutted than anything, but it's nothing too bad. And I found this awesome line just right here. You go straight down the hill the entire time, which other people were taking lines off to the left, which were a little bit slower. Going into the motocross section here, which you guys saw on the first lap, and now things are thinned out. It's a little more controlled and there's not as many bikes on the track at once. So one thing to keep in mind is I'm not right next to him. However, I am a little bit faster than the guy on the KTM in this motocross section. So you can see I'm ticking away a couple of seconds on him. I'm making a little bit of ground. I mean, not enough to make a move, but I'm creeping up on him. So now we're getting towards the last part of the motocross track, and I knew I had to make some kind of move to catch up to him because the second half of the track, the muddy part of the track, that's where mistakes are likely to happen on his part and my part. And now I creeped up on him quite a bit going into this berm, and this outside line was a little bit slower going over the berm, but you could carry more speed. So I cleared that double, almost cleared the second double, and then cleared this tabletop, which really you can see right here got me close to him. So I don't know why I took this inside line. I was taking the outside line on that turn every single lap, and that inside line slowed me up quite a bit. But now we're going to the uphill. And like I said, I wanted him to make a mistake, and here it is. He ran into that tree right there, and I got around him. So getting up this hill here on this grass track section, I was able to look ahead and see where the next bike was, so I knew if I had the ability to catch up and make another pass possibly. You can see right here there's a guy finishing up this turn ahead of me as I'm going into it. so he's not too far ahead, but it's going to take some work. Going into the second half of the track, this is a sloppy section where it's really hard to keep speed and momentum. So line choice is going to be very important going into this last part. So I'm choosing some pretty deep ruts, however I'm getting through them, no problem. And also I'm able to carry quite a bit of speed. Right here I lose my footing a little bit, but nothing to the point where I have to completely stop or fall over. An important thing for me with this race, or a good takeaway, I should say, is I didn't crash once, which I don't know if that means I wasn't going fast enough or if I was just doing a good job keeping my bike under control. Crashing in a race isn't good, isn't preferred because you lose a lot of time and you wear yourself out, especially in the mud races, picking your bike up. I probably had about 20 pounds of extra weight just with mud on this thing. So I guess not crashing today was really big. So you can see he's not too far ahead of me. However, we're getting towards the end of the lap. So I'm really losing time on being able to pass him. And we come out of the woods just up here. And you can see right about here. So he's probably 20 yards away from me. So not too far, however, it's looking like I'm not going to be able to make the pass on him. Unfortunate, but it is what it is. So I got 12th out of 20 in Moto 1. So at the end of Moto 1, the storm that they were trying to beat ended up hitting, which ended the day. It sucks, but it is what it is. So, with only one moto being scored, my overall for the day was 12th out of 20. Looking at the points, I got 3 points for the day, and if there's more than 20 riders in the class, then it's a 30-point distribution. If there's 4 to 20 riders, it's a 20-point distribution, and if there's 1 to 3 riders, it's a 10-point distribution. So 20 riders, so it's a 20-point distribution. So it's still early in the season. However, we need to stop these mid-pack finishes and try and finish in the top half of the pack. So guys, I hope you enjoyed this race video, and hopefully I will see you at Tri-City next week. However, the forecast isn't looking good, but we'll keep our fingers crossed. See you next time, guys.